Hey everybody, Jake here from Bearded Gear, and I had the camera set up. I was shooting a quick unboxing and I realized I have a new knife that I unboxed yesterday, and I'm just going to seize the moment, kind of show it off real quick because it's interesting and exciting. This is a Spyderco Paysan. It's a Peter Rosenti design, and I had one of these. It was one of the first videos on my channel ever is when I unboxed it. So that was over 2 years ago now, and I got one that was stock, except it had I think it was a Rips Garage Tech. No, it was an MXG Gear titanium clip on it, and the clip had been anodized purple. I ended up doing another video of how to de-anodize that. And anyways, I had one of these a while back, and I really, really liked it. I'm a Spyderco fanboy. I like a lot of Spyderco knives, and this is, I think, the most expensive knife Spyderco has ever put out. These were like 650-ish new. I'm not even sure if they've discontinued this or if any sites still have them. But ever since letting that one go quite a while ago, I've been real tempted to get another one. And I've always told myself at some point I'll get another one and I'll have it reground, because my biggest gripe about the Paysan was that the blade geometry is just too thick. They left so much meat on the blade. It could have been a hollow grind or a taller flat, something to just make it a better slicer and also reduce a little weight out of the blade, because the blade is so heavy compared to how light the handle is. So anyway, the other day, a buddy of mine, a guy that I literally just saw at CCKS and met in person for the first time, but we've chatted on Instagram a bunch and known each other for a while. I got to talk to him quite a bit, and then a couple days later, he posts on his page on Instagram that he was selling some knives, and one of them was this Paysan, which has been reground and has a lynch clip on it and has skiffs in it. And so this one was reground by Brian over at Transparent Knives, and it has a taller flat, which is gorgeous. And this one was a bit of a user for the guy I bought it from, so it's got a little bit of wear on it. It's not completely immaculate, which is fine, because I bought this to be a user for me now. And because I already know the model, there was no like guessing whether I'm gonna like it. I knew I already really like the knife, and it already has the thing done to it that I would like to most have done to it. So I think I'm gonna put a fresh edge on this now that it's here. The edge is fine, but I'd like to put my own edge on it. Since it's a keeper user, and it's a good excuse to bust out the KME and put a little more mileage on it. But this knife is just so freaking cool. It's a Peter Rosenti design. If you're familiar with Peter Rosenti designs, he does knives like the Paysan and the Nirvana. They're all integrals. So it's a titanium integral handle with a frame lock. In this case, which is, I think, kind of rare on a Taichung Taiwan knife for Spyderco, we have a lock bar insert. They don't always do that at the Taichung factory, so that's kind of cool and unique. But it's an integral titanium handle, runs on bearings. Like I said, this one has skiffs already tossed into it. I love that. And it's just really cool because it's, in a way, integrals are simpler than other knives. They have less parts, right? Because it's all one part for the handle. So there's less screws and less things holding it together. But even like, look at the way this lanyard hole is done. It's just a hole drilled through the end of a thin piece of the titanium back here. I'm never going to use that, but that's a really non-invasive place to put a lanyard hole. Yeah, so this knife is just, it's exciting for me to finally have another one and to have it be the way that I ultimately want it to be. I did also order, because I really liked, I'm usually a deep carry clip kind of guy, right? And I may end up switching back to this, but this is just a Lynch PM2 clip, one of the long ones. If I keep a Lynch clip, I'll probably switch to one of the shorter ones. I'm not usually crazy about the length of these longer ones. It makes them flimsier, so it feels a little less secure in pocket. But I ordered another of the MXG Gear, like just milled titanium clips that I know fits this, because this knife feels, I don't know, it just kind of feels right with that clip on it. Having owned it before with that clip on it, it feels a little more suited to the knife maybe. So yeah, the functionality though of the deep carry clip, I'm not sold as to whether I'll keep that clip on it, but I impulsively bought one. I was like, I'm gonna have my Paysan again, but this time reground with skips in it. The action on this, by the way, it's just so freaking good. It middle finger flicks like an absolute dream. The blade is still really heavy, even with the regrind, but it's way better balanced than this knife is typically. But yeah, if you get past the detent ramp, which is way down here, some people are not going to love that, but super drop shutty. It's just a really, really fun knife to fidget with. Middle finger flicks super well, thumb flicks super well, and because the blade has so much heft in it, it just feels really authoritative when it thwacks. So yeah, really, really exciting knife to have again, finally, after all this time. And it's cool too, like the market on these, even though they were really expensive from Spyderco, to my knowledge, I think the most expensive knife they've ever put out thus far, folders wise. I got this for way less than they cost, not way less, but significantly less than they cost new, and it's been reground and has skiffs in it and has a nicer aftermarket clip on it. These came factory with just the Spyderco regular spoon clip, which baffles me on their most expensive knife ever, that they used just their same clip that comes on like a regular Para 3. It's like a little bit crazy to me that that's the way they spec'd it out, but it's an awesome knife, and I'm excited to carry it and put it through its paces. I carried it all day yesterday. Yesterday I went to the P.O. box and got it and immediately just opened it up in the car because I was excited to have it, and I haven't really been doing unboxings lately. But yeah, I don't know if I'll do an updated full review on this knife because I've already reviewed the model in the past. Granted, a lot of time has gone by. I've experienced a lot more things since then because this is one of the first knives I reviewed on the channel. But I don't know. We'll see. Maybe I'll do a full review. Odds are I probably won't because I'm busy lately. And that's the way life goes sometimes. But it may happen. So anyway, if I don't do another full review, I freaking still love this knife right out of the package. This one's, I can't call it new because it's been carried and used a lot, but right, new to me, I'm already loving this knife as much as I remembered loving it. And I've just been really excited for it, and it's not letting me down. And this better blade geometry with the regrind has been super fun to experience, that it cuts better than I remembered it cutting. And it's like a nice thin behind the edge profile with a tall flat. It just feels really good to cut with, and it works really well now compared to how it did with the factory grind. And I think it still looks really good. You'll notice the only thing that's the grind really interfered with is right up here. It cut off a little bit of the Spyderco where it's written there. And that's it. Everything else is still there. I can see Taichung, Taiwan. CPM S90V is still there. It's just part of the S that got ground a little bit, and that doesn't bug me one bit because this is a user, right? I guess if it started to bug me too, I could just either send this knife to like the knife modders or something, Lindy and Richie, and have them refinish the blade, or I could acid etch it or something. It's S90V, so that would probably work fairly well. Maybe I could have it coated or something, but honestly, it doesn't bug me. I like it the way that it is, so I probably won't do any of those things. I'll probably just carry it and use it like this, and maybe with a different clip on it. That's going to be my ownership of this knife, but it also feels right to me. I'll say this, I'll kind of end on this note. As somebody who's so into Spyderco, and I own a lot of Spyderco knives, I've owned tons more than I currently own, but at all times I seemingly have like 8 to 10 Spyderco knives in my collection, and I just love them. They're great users, they're interesting designs a lot of the time, they fit my hand super well. Most cases, Spyderco makes some models that I'm not interested in at all, but the ones I keep around are knives that I just genuinely love to carry and use, and that's kind of where Spyderco is in my mind. And this is like the top tier carry and use knife from Spyderco that exists for me. It's like the nicest knife that they make that I also want to carry and use. And it's fun to have one because I feel like I should, as somebody who's such a fan of the brand. I should have their kind of crown jewel, if you will. And Peter Rosenti knives also, like freaking, I would love to have a custom Rosenti, but they're so expensive and really hard to get. And so it's a knife that may happen for me at some point. Maybe I'll get a Nirvana or something. Maybe like the 3-inch Nirvana would be, ooh, that'd be awesome. But in the meantime, now I have a Rosenti designed knife that's built really well is an integral and feels pretty true to what a Rosenti knife should be to me. So yeah, great knife. Glad I have it. This is, I guess, just kind of a highlight of it because it's new to me again. All right, thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you on the next one.